Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void were prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
I developed your prison persona based on a behavioral analysis of inmate profiles at Sealview.
I've been using drugs since I was 13, and then started muling to support my habit.
Prescription pills mostly, but you won't say no to the hard stuff.
What's my name?
Katrina Ray Lewis, I hereby sentence you to 5 years at Sealview Correctional Facility.
You're not a recreational user. You're a hardcore drug addict facing withdrawal. You won't survive unless you get your hands on some pharmaceuticals.
Move it, ladies. Single file. Hands at your waist at all times.
Abusive father, abusive husband. Just like all the other inmates. You're a target for abuse. Every man's punching bag.
Put your clothes in the basket and then hand them to the officer. This will be a full body and cavity search.
You'll have no privacy. You will shower, sleep, dress, and use the toilet in full view of other people. At times, you will feel humiliated and degraded.
Finish it up.
You're going to see things you want to stop with every fiber of your being.
Hands against the wall, spread them.
Come on, shouldn't a woman be doing this?
But you can't react. Ever.
Oh, someone's been working out.
Don't you touch me like that. No! Stop!
Hey, who's that? Enough already! Hey.
In New York City, sexually based offenses are considered especially heinous. These are their stories.
Hey guys, welcome to Munchy Benson. My name is Adam. I am here in New York City. I am joined on the line by Josh. How's it going in the basement, Josh?
It's going. Had a pretty hectic July that I just got out of.
Yeah, you had an eventful couple weeks, right? First off, happy birthday. I hadn't wished you a happy birthday yet. I wanted to save it for the audience so they can hear it in I think a week or so.
Yeah, on
like
Monday.
that.
So a week from today.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary to be recording an episode that we have to release in less than a week. Yeah.
We have enough time.
Suboptimal.
Hey, life happens, But did all the other stuff go? I know you were working on a film project. How'd that go?
Well, I haven't been able to start editing it yet.
Yeah.
So, I guess the proof will be in the pudding, as it were,
say.
once I start once I start working on that. Pretty much all of the time that I, could conceivably have been doing that was spent traveling because we had to shoot that thing in Austin. But for the month of July, I think I was home 5 days between the 5th and the 31st.
Were you in a cabin in the woods somewhere for the last week?
Yeah, there was a merman who was trying to kill us.
Nice.
No, we were up north in sort of like an hour north of Brainerd.
Would you call it
where the movie Fargo starts?
Like a lake in the woods? Did you?
Yeah, it's just a couple miles south of where the Chippewa National Forest starts. Okay. So it's, literally a lake in the woods.
So you couldn't dangle your feet in the water and contemplate fleeing to Canada and giving up everything you'd known in the past, could you?
It wasn't that close to Canada.
That's too bad. I just picture in my mind you kind of on a Tim O'Brien-esque adventure to the border.
Have you read In the Lake of the Woods?
Isn't that what am I thinking of?
That's the murder mystery.
That's the murder mystery. I'm thinking of I think one of the vignettes from The Things They Carried, but maybe not.
Yeah, I think you are. But yeah, it wasn't. You like every day that thought crosses my mind.
Yeah,
of just trying to go to Canada and leave this country behind.
Yeah, Canada's great, man. I have nothing but good experiences in the Great White North.
Yep, take us in, Canada.
So speaking of murder mysteries, I've been consuming a lot of media here. I'll save some of it for the next one. But so I watched Knives Out a couple nights ago, which was a lot of fun.
Really fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I think maybe I had heard so many great things about it that I was maybe expecting a little bit. I don't know. I wouldn't say that it was bad in any way, but I think it would look like a lot of fun to make. It was fun to watch. It was filmed really close to the town I grew up in, actually. So for the car chase scene, I thought for a second it might have been Winchester, Massachusetts, which is where I lived until I was 10 years old, but it was not. It was some other town that's old and in Massachusetts. Yeah. I can't remember. It wasn't Waltham. They do shoot in Waltham, but whatever. Anyways, I enjoyed it a lot. I thought Daniel Craig's New Orleans accent was
hilarious.
Yeah, it was fun. I've also been watching quite a bit of Diagnosis Murder recently.
Jesus Christ.
I would say that I've firmly in the Barry Van Dyke fan club right now. I haven't actually finished an episode of Diagnosis Murder, but so I don't know how easy it is to figure out.
How are you watching episodes of Diagnosis Murder and not actually finishing them?
Okay, because it's the kind of thing you watch when you're falling asleep, and at a certain point, it's like, I honestly don't care how Mark and Steve Sloan, figure out a way to solve this impenetrable crime. But what I did see, Josh, is I saw a episode that featured Munch alum Rick Aiello, which I thought was fun. As I believe he was the shitty husband that owned that Irish pub.
Yep, in Choice.
Yeah, exactly, in Choice. Yeah, and he was Ricky Aiello in this one, and it looked like we were going to really think he was the killer in this one, where there was like a sexy surgeon who gets offed. But I think it was probably her creepy bald apartment super. So that's where I was going. I don't know. It's hard to figure out because of course I never finished it. So who the fuck knows? Anyways,
I'm sure all of the podcast listeners are going to seek out that episode of Diagnosis Murder and also fall asleep while watching.
Yeah, let me tell you guys, it is a lot of fun. Dick Van Dyke is a star, so don't talk too much shit. If you watch Knives Out, there are explicit references to shows like that. They're even watching Murder, She Wrote at one point in it, and this is definitely in that milieu. Now, the reasons why the Dick Van Dyke character is allowed to investigate these murders makes zero sense at all. He's a fucking doctor who has no appointments. That's what his character
Like a
is.
medical doctor, right? Not like an ME or anything?
No, he's not an ME. Like, one of his proteges eventually becomes an ME, which also doesn't make sense because he's just like he's like a hospitalist who has residents. He like teaches residents. That's what he does. But for some reason, he never has appointments. He doesn't have surgeries. He's not doing any medical work. He just walks around the hospital
old as fuck.
and then starts solving crimes. And his son is Barry Van Dyke.
Is Jerry Van Dyke in it at all?
No Jerry, just Barry. Okay, so I feel like we've
talked a lot about Diagnosis Murder, and we have an episode to talk about.
I could talk so much more about it, but we do have an episode to talk about, and specifically an episode with a fuckload of plot in it. We are in a stretch of very different SVUs.
Yep.
We are not getting the, card murder investigation court case. That's not what we're getting these days. We're getting...
And spoiler alert, the next one, which we are recording after this,
not even close.
Also, not even close to a normal episode.
Yeah. All right, so let's just fire up the recap. A crazed, toothless older man wielding a machete is stalking his prey in the woods at night when a visibly terrified rookie cop confronts him and finds a battered and raped 16-year-old girl in the woods nearby. Sadly for the rookie, old Cyrus Vert was out hunting vermin, not co-eds. Sadly for Benson, the victim, Ashley Tyler, is not interested in helping the investigation. First, she trashes the ambulance and needs to be sedated. Then, when she wakes up, she refuses to give a statement or release her rape kit, and her foster parents firmly ask Benson to leave. Munch and Finn had a little more luck finding some background on Ashley. Her mother, Risa, is in the middle of a 12-year stint at Sealview Prison on a drug rap. Her father's been gone since long before Ashley was born, so Ashley had been living with her uncle Rick in Brooklyn until a zealous ACS worker found Ashley sleeping in bed with her uncle and placed her in foster care. Benson and Stabler find Rick's door unlocked while he's singing in the shower. Taking advantage of the situation, they perform a quick, warrantless search of the premises and find a bottle of Oxycontin and a massive stash of weed, before opening the shower curtain, admiring little Ricky, and taking Rick in for questioning. Rick, as it soon becomes clear, is a stand-up dude. Yes, he occasionally sleeps naked next to his teen niece, and sure, it was his 2 kilos of pot that Risa was busted with, but he's fighting to make things right and take care of his niece. Stabler eventually coaxes the dope out of Rick and learns that one of the prison guards at Sealview was using Risa as a go-between to procure Rick's pot to deal to the inmates. When Rick quit dealing in a bid to win back Ashley, the guard raped Ashley in retaliation. The problem for SVU is that neither Rick nor Ashley knew the guard's name, nor had they seen his face. So Ashley eventually agrees to release the findings from her rape kit to Benson, but also tells them that her mother Risa is being raped repeatedly by this guard and others, and has no one to protect her inside Sealview. Things go tits up immediately as some unknown cop took the rape kit results from the hospital before Benson and Stabler could get to them. Predictably, the badge was a Bureau of Corrections badge with a retired number, so not only is the unit no closer to catching the rapist, he presumably knows that Ashley was cooperating with SVU, putting Risa in grave danger inside. So Elliot cooks up a rare, non-bespeckled disguise and meets with Risa, claiming to be her lawyer. The interview doesn't last long, as Risa was not that happy to be there, and the guards come and take her out almost immediately because they searched her room and found contraband, including drugs and a shiv, and she is taken away to the hole. Elliot talks to the clueless warden who wants to help but cannot imagine how guards in her prison could be smuggling drugs or committing rape. And guess what happens next? The word about Elliot's little escapade got out, and Risa was thrown into solitary confinement. Ashley is apoplectic and tells Benson about the near-constant sexual abuse and torture Risa has experienced on the inside. Olivia feels so bad about everything that she cooks an even kookier undercover scheme. She's going undercover in prison without anybody in the prison in the loop. Things are about to get nuts. George Wong then whips up a psychological profile, and before we know it, Benson is in dingy clothes pretending to be a hard drug-abusing Katrina Ray Lewis. Benson is shackled and processed like all the other inmates. She is strip-searched and forced to take a very cold and very public shower. Then, when she objects to being groped by a lecherous corrections officer, another CO, who just happens to be a newly on the job as a guard, Finn, throws her to the ground and hits her convincingly hard with his nightstick. A mustachioed prison guard commanding officer, Captain Lowell Harris, clearly appreciates Finn's violence and lack of respect for the inmates, but tells him to tone it down because this isn't Rikers. Benson's taken to the infirmary, where she sees the corpse of Risa Tyler, who had apparently hung herself. Ashley understandably blames Elliot for her mother's death, which Emmy Warner determines was almost certainly a murder staged to look like a suicide due to Risa's fractured hyoid bone and the unnatural placement of the noose. Sadly, the Westerville County Medical Examiner is unwilling to reopen Risa's case, so the only way this rapist is going to be caught is inside Sealview itself. Benson makes a new friend, Shauna, who gives her the lowdown on how to score by showing skin and flirting with the guards. The guard who groped her during intake, Matthew Parker, clearly has a gross thing for Benson, so Munchy and Lake do a little digging on his financials and uncover a big money porn habit. Before they can get an ID from Ashley, though, they discover that she's been hospitalized with a potentially deadly multi-drug resistant strain of TB, which she'd probably contracted from the guard who raped her. This means Benson will be locked inside a prison for at least 3 days with a crazed disease above the law prison guard, while the CDC determines the outbreak of the TB outbreak inside. If only the CDC was this prompt at responding to actual disease outbreaks inside actual prisons, maybe we wouldn't be in the situation we're in today. The situation inside is getting a little testy. While taking Benson away for a quick sexual assault session, C.O. Parker manages to incite a full-on riot for which Benson is obviously blamed. She is taken away by that mustachioed Captain Harris, but instead of taking her to the hole in C Block, he takes her to the prison rape dungeon and immediately gets down to business, which in this case is rape and torture. Though Liv never stops screaming for help and never stops fighting back, Harris decides it's a good idea to take off her cuffs, and is instantly rewarded with an elbow to the face, which gives Liv time to run. Of course, there's no escape from this rape dungeon, so she does her best to hide while the sadistic Captain Harris searches for her. Upstairs, Finn gets tired of waiting for a TB test and runs off to grab Liv's friend Shauna for what she thinks is a little, at least somewhat consensual flatbacking session. She agrees to guide him somewhere where they can have a little privacy. Back downstairs, Liv has been found by Harris and cuffed to a door. Harris unbuckles his pants and prepares to rape her orally when Finn finally rushes in and identifies both himself and Benson as cops. Harris, though, is quickly released from police custody since Ashley's TB strain came not from the prison, but from the group home she'd been sent to when she was taken away from her uncle. Thankfully for the cause of justice, Benson and Ashley are much better acquainted with a part of Captain Harris's anatomy than either of them would like, and Ashley finally agrees to identify a distinguishing mole on his wang, which is enough to lock him up. Elliot and Warner both make some lighthearted dick jokes at Harris's expense, and we are left with a, if SVU had just done their jobs better in the initial investigation, then Benson wouldn't have nearly been raped, Dick Wolf.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
But you want to start with the guests?
We can go through the guests quick.
Yeah. There's a few. There's more in this than I thought when I first looked at the list. There were more than I was kind of interested in. Mostly because of the wire connections, I guess. But still.
Of which there are a few.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to start with Sharika Epps, who's playing Ashley Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
She's the teen victim found in the cold open. She was born in Brooklyn. She won an Independent Spirit Award for Best Female Lead in Half Nelson.
Yeah, that was the crack smoking substitute teacher film. If you guys don't remember,
yeah, starring Ryan Gosling.
Yeah,
that sort of put him on the critical, the critical darling list. Really good movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. She took off time from acting in 2013 to focus on schooling, but it looks like she's sort of back at it. Mm-hmm. She did spoken word vocals on 2 tracks on Ryan Gosling's band's eponymous debut.
Interesting.
Dead Man's Bones. And she was the only other credit that I was interested in was she was in Brett Gelman's Dinner in America.
Okay. I don't know anything about that.
That is... It's a really uncomfortable, really uncomfortable. It's on Adult Swim.
Okay.
So if you have access to Adult Swim, you can watch it there. I've seen it. He basically plays a dumb white guy and has a panel of black actors for dinner, and they talk about race, but Brett Gelman is predictably awful as the white guy, and so it starts badly and
gets worse.
Keeps getting worse. Yes.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
It's really fun, but if you like,
if you are in on the joke, probably, right?
If you're into terribly awkward comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next up, we've got Hassan Johnson, who's
Weebay.
playing Rick Tyler.
Yeah.
Yep. Motherfucking Weebay.
Yeah.
Weebay Bryce from The Wire. So shared universe. Blah blah blah. Brain melter. He was also in Clockers, Belly, and Newlyweds, which I'm actually sort of interested in. That was an earlier Shaka King joint.
I saw
Shaka King directed Judas and the Black Messiah.
I saw Clockers in the theater. That's a good one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. He was also main cast in the new Showtime show Flatbush Misdemeanors. This is his second appearance on SVU. He was also in 2 eps of the original series.
Yeah, I love Hassan Johnson. I think he's great.
Oh, yeah. Weebay is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then staying with The Wire, we've got Melanie Nichols-King.
Yeah.
Who's playing Jill Botas, the foster mother.
Yeah.
She's from Toronto. She was in 41 episodes of Rookie Blue. She had recurring parts in Filth City, Little Fires Everywhere, Show Me a Hero, Veep, Orphan Black, Goosebumps, and Highlander the Raven.
She was Kima Gregg's irritating...
She was most importantly for our purposes. Kima Gregg's old lady Cheryl.
Yeah, her irritating normie wife.
Yeah, her normie lawyer wife.
Yeah.
And she was in another episode of SVU.
Yeah.
Then we've got... Motherfucker, I thought I paused that.
God damn it. Probably Johnny Mesner. Is that who you got next?
That's who I have next.
Yeah.
Next up, I've got Johnny Mesner, who's playing Captain Lowell Harris.
Yeah.
He was born in Syracuse, raised in Newburyport, Mass. He went to college in San Diego. He worked as a personal assistant to producer and Night Eyes star Andrew Stevens.
Interesting.
He has twin boys with Catherine Morris, the star of Cold Case, with whom he at least appears to still be in a relationship.
Well, that's nice.
He was also in Spartan, Hostage, The Whole 10 Yards, Tears of the Sun, and Running Scared. He had recurring parts on Cold Case, Jane the Virgin, and The OC, and he voiced Flint in G.I. Joe Renegades. And when you listen to him, that makes sense because he's got that deep, manly voice.
Yeah, I can see that. He seems to play those parts a lot.
Yeah, a lot of soldiers.
Yeah.
Then moving down the corrections officer line, we've got Todd Stashwick, who's playing Matthew Parker. He's a Chicago guy. He went to Illinois State and did improv at Second City, where he was in the National Touring Company. He moved to New York in the early 90s and formed Burn Manhattan, like a sort of an improv group, I guess, with Kate Walsh and Jeremy Piven, among others. He was in the rotation of comedic performers on Conan in the late 90s. He has guest parts in virtually every show of the last 25 years. He has 127 credits since 1997.
Yeah, including Diagnosis Murder, FYI.
Sure. He was main cast in The Riches and 12 Monkeys, the 12 Monkeys series, not the movie. And he's had recurring parts on Curb Your Enthusiasm, Heroes, Men of a Certain Age, The Originals, and Justified. Then moving down the line, we've got Matthew Cowles, who's playing Cyrus Wirt. He was born in New York. He was married to Christine Baranski from October of 1983 to his death in May of 2014 from congestive heart failure. They raised their daughters in Connecticut without television because they objected to violence and the sexual content of programs, which is ironic given the fact that he's in this episode. He also played a recurring pimp role on All My Children, which is apparently a very colorful part. And he was doing that back in like 1977, and he'd bounced back a couple times into it, popping up here and there, but up until 2013. So
he was in Slapshot.
He was.
And
he
the
also
Money
popped
Pit.
up in Money Pit, Slapshot, The World According to Garp, The Happy Hooker, and The Friends of Eddie Coyle. He appeared in different roles in the original series and Trial by Jury, and also popped up in Homicide. Making
weird.
this a
another brain melter.
Moving down the line, we've got LaChanze, I believe is how her name would be pronounced, but I'm not sure. She's playing Amber. She took her stage name from the Creole for The Charmed One. She has been nominated for 3 Tonys.
Damn.
For the first one was in 1991 for Best Featured Actress in a Musical for the play Once on This Island. Then she won a Tony in 2006 for Best Lead Actor in a Musical for The Color Purple, which I did not know there was a Color Purple musical, and that seems super weird to me. Then she was also nominated in 2018 for Best Lead in a Musical for Summer, the Donner Summer Musical. She won an Emmy for Outstanding Achievement for Individual Excellence on Camera, Programming, Performer, for Handel's Messiah Rocks. Moving to things that more people might have seen, she was one of Theo's friends in 2 episodes of The Cosby Show, one of which they went to prom. This is her second time on SVU. She had a recurring part on The Blacklist this year and was in 2 episodes of The Underground Railroad and The Good Fight very recently. She was also in Leap of Faith, The Help, and Side Effects. Her first husband, was a securities trader at Cantor Fitzgerald in Tower 1 and died in the 9/11 attacks.
That's the only time that 9/11 will come up in this episode of Munchy by Benson. Spoiler alert.
That's weird. Then next up, I've got Tawny Cypress, who's playing Shauna. She's from Point Pleasant, New Jersey. She was main cast in the Blacklist spinoff, Blacklist Redemption. She was a series regular on Unforgettable. She had recurring parts on the Blacklist as that same character that was spun off from Blacklist into Blacklist Redemption. She was also in House of Cards as recurring. These are all recurring. House of Cards, K-ville, Heroes, Rescue Me, 100 Center Street, and Third Watch. I've got 2 more really quickly. Karen Ludwig, who's playing the prison nurse, was Meryl Streep's girlfriend in Manhattan. This is her second of 3 appearances in SVU. And last on my list is Dinah Lenny, who's playing the prison warden. She majored in American Studies at Yale, and she was Nurse Shirley in 74 episodes of ER. That's all I've got. There were a lot of kind of one-off actors down the line who pop up as small bit parts and other things, but nothing that I saw that was particularly interesting.
Yeah. So. I mean, did you talk about Linda Powell? She's been in a bunch of stuff, but yeah, it's all kind of bit parts. She was good in this, but I think we can move on to the next segment, which is talking a little bit about women's prisons in New York State. Josh, this is my New York State of Mind segment. So this isn't
just your Caged Heat.
It's not just me watching Pam Grier films.
Yeah.
No, so this episode takes place in Sealview Prison, which is not a real place. There was no Sealview Prison. Now there is a Bayview Prison, which is actually in Manhattan. It's a rare kind of state penitentiary that's inside a major city, which is fairly rare. It's actually down right by the Chelsea Piers, so on the west side of the island. It's like a fairly interesting place, I guess. Not too exciting. It's a medium. What do you call it? A medium security prison. So not where the craziest criminals go. But
not club fed either.
No, it's not club fed. They did. There was a famous mural that was painted on the side of it back in the 70s or something, when there was just an empty lot next to it.
Was it a Banksy?
No, but it's a cool
I'm joking.
Yeah, obviously, but it's a cool like abstract expressionist thing. It looked pretty interesting. Of course, since then that lot has been turned into a massive condo tower. So you can still partially see the mural,
Who'da thunk it?
But barely. And it looks like shit. But can you imagine like living in a $2 million, 2-bedroom condo and knowing that right next door is, prisoners who have been stuck there for decades? I don't know. It just seems creepy to me personally. But the one prison that this is mostly about, or is mostly kind of referring to, is the Bedford Hills Correctional Facility for Women, which is probably the most famous women's penitentiary in the country. It's the women's version of Sing Sing. It's been around since 1901, and basically kind of the most famous women prisoners, of course, in New York State have all spent some time there. Now, in 1974, it was the site of a big prisoners' riot. They took over. They called it the August Rebellion, kind of similar to the Attica situation, which you might be familiar with. But reading down the list of inmates that stayed there, pretty much every single person that lived there for a while could be the subject of an excellent episode of Law & Order SVU. I don't know what it is about like women criminals that makes them more interesting, but I mean, really, I'm telling you. So, Amy Fisher lived there for a little while after she chopped off what's his name's Wang, Joey Buttafuoco, that's his name.
Oh no, sorry, yeah, not John Wayne Bobbitt, that was Lorena. Sorry.
Yeah, but there's a few other great ones like Carolyn Warmus, who was a teacher convicted of the murder of a fellow teacher's wife, so that she could supposedly get closer to him. Now it's not entirely clear that was what happened. It might have been that the husband actually did the killing and blamed it on this girl who was kind of obsessed with her. But anyways, an interesting story nonetheless. More recently, Anna Sorokin, who was this sort of famous Russian fraudster who moved to New York in 2013 and created this fictitious identity, Anna Delvey. She was like a wealthy German heiress in this identity and used that to like defraud tons and tons of people out of millions and millions of dollars. Really fascinating story for her. The one that I really got interested in, but there's all of them. Every single one of them is interesting. But Kathy Bowden was one that was really fascinating for me. She was a former Weather Underground member who was convicted for her role in the 1981 Brinks robbery, which is just a fucking wild story. So the Weather Underground, elements of the Black Panther Party, and some radical communist organizations staged this like robbery of an armored car, and really like hyper violent robberies, straight out of Heat shit. They killed 3 guards. at the side of the armored car, and then they also shot up. I think they just wounded like a half a dozen other cops during the escape. But one of the surviving guards, a guy named Joseph Trombino, he was shot but survived in that. Now, 20 years later, he was almost killed in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing because he was making a delivery, but managed to escape. And then he was killed on September 11, 2001, making another delivery to the World Trade Center. So this guy has really been kind of at the center of history, I guess. Anyways, really fascinating list of prisoners that stayed at Bedford Hills. Of course, it is a terrible prison. They kind of claim that nowadays they're the kind of model for how a women's prison should be run. They have like a child welfare program. So yada, yada, yada. I don't exactly know. They're still warehousing people, so I don't necessarily think it's probably that great.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Can we get to some episode notes, Josh?
Yeah, one quick correction.
Okay.
Amy Fisher shot Joey Buttafuoco's wife.
That's right.
Lorena Bobbitt cut off John Wayne Bobbitt's penis.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I'm getting my my.
Yeah, well, 90s. And they were supposed to celebrity box one another,
Yeah.
Joey Buttafuoco and John Wayne Bobbitt, but Bobbitt was arrested for domestic abuse.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was
That's
like, wait.
right. That's right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I didn't write it all down. I just vaguely they kind of blend together in my mind.
Right. Well, they were pretty much at the same time, you know.
So the cold open, great cold open, right, Josh? This is one of my favorite kind of things. The red herring.
The upskirt shot of the Vic in the park?
Hey, we're getting there. But the crazed old man wielding the machete.
Sure.
And the terrified rookie. Yeah, great stuff. And then how is he? He's wandering around the woods at night when there's a 16-year-old girl like moaning fairly loudly, not, I don't know, maybe 10 feet away from where he's standing. Don't you think he would have heard her before?
He only has ears for vermin.
I guess.
Okay, so how many times do you think they needed to shoot that shot to get the angle and the lighting just right to not show the rape zone while still giving us too much of an idea as to what happened to this poor girl?
I want the lighting notes about that, right? Like how much were the grips and the DP huddling getting that just right to get the shadow cast like across her skirt, but still have her legs splayed open?
Yeah, it's wild. And again, you know, she's supposed to be 16.
We have been really remiss, Josh, in not tallying the number of be-ankled panties that we've witnessed because, like, this one is like a full upskirt shot, right? This one is probably the lewdest one we've seen yet, I think.
Yeah.
Just insane. Yes, and 16 years old. I don't think what's her name was 16.
Sharika Epps.
Yeah, Sharika Epps. But still, pretty gross.
Sharika Epps was born in 1989.
Okay.
So she'd be about 19 here.
Yeah. Still kind of gross.
I would argue very gross. But.
Yeah. I like Cyrus Wirt as a name. I feel like it took him a while to come up with that one. Like
really into his name. I have to say I really like when we get Stabler sort of like training green rookies, you know, green rookie unis on the job at crime scenes.
We've seen that once or twice, and it always works well. Like he's really good at that kind of paternal role.
Yeah, the paternal, like, pull your head out of your ass, kid.
She's alive, so that's not a murder weapon, right?
Yep. Yeah. So when we get to the credits, I was watching them. I think it's kind of like I think season 9 credits might be my favorite.
Yeah.
You know, you got Lake, you got good picks of pretty much the whole cast. Diane Neal is looking weirdly hot in the season 9 opening credits. Like,
Is Warner,
you know,
main
of
cast?
all the ADAs, you know, she's probably of all the female ADAs, she's probably the one who I'm least.
Okay, well, she's the least.
If we're being crass, the least like just she has the least animal magnetism.
Okay, so let's say that they're at a certain point. I don't know, probably whenever I think Angie Harmon was the first, if I'm not mistaken. But whenever
Jill Hennessy.
Jill Hennessy was. Whenever Jill Hennessy,
another model.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like I get them confused because they're both like drop dead gorgeous brunettes. You know, like whenever she joined the original series, like they're like, oh yeah, this is who's going to be the ADAs now. So and
oh yeah, this is the formula.
And Diane Neal is very attractive, but she's not that, right? I mean, I think
yeah, she's not the like just runway model.
Yeah, Cabot, Graylick, and you know, are definitely but not yet.
And what's her face, Hardwick?
Yeah,
yeah. So,
but yeah.
Well, I mean, hell, even Stone could be.
What do you mean, like
Stone's kid?
Yeah, Stone's kid. I was going to say Stone.
Yeah,
not so much.
Season 20.
I love a bald man as much as the next guy, Josh, but I don't think
not Moriarty. But yeah, and it like this one, it feels like it's even more sepia out than all the rest of the season intros are.
Yeah, I think it is. So. It's very sepia. Whenever I'm doing like the recap, I'm always furiously typing, so I wasn't watching it. Is Warner in the main cast in season 9? Yeah, so it's got all my faves. So what I think is funny is that instantly you can tell, at least, I don't know, you can tell the shooting schedule, Josh, and the shooting schedule is that they did the Seal View scenes before they did these opening scenes with Benson, because they're totally hiding her neck for the first like 2 or 3 scenes. She's wearing a turtleneck, I think, in the cold open, and then she has a scarf that's very much trying to hide the mark on her neck that's there when from
because some of it's probably not makeup.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
some of it was a war wound on set.
Yeah, Ice-T hit her a little too hard with that nightstick. Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. It's like, what the fuck is going on with her neck? And then by the end of it, I'm like, oh, that's what happened.
So yeah, then we're in the ambulance, and Ashley really doesn't want to talk. She's throwing shit all over the place, and then they have to sedate her. Then
I've never seen a rape victim attack a cop. Now, what about the victims of rape by cop? Would you ever see them attack a cop? It's just a question I had.
I think we get an answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously I'm pleased to see both Weebay and Kima's old lady here.
Yeah. Now we have another heavenly set of foster parents, which is definitely a SVU trope. Now in this one, we are kind of under the implication that the group home is not heavenly because, of course, she contracts multi-drug resistant TB from it. But these foster parents,
when you're getting consumption on steroids from a group home,
but these foster parents are really going to the mat for her. So good on them. Yeah, good on the whole ACS system.
Yeah, now, I love when they go to Weebay. Sorry, I'm just going to call him Weebay.
Just call him Weebay. We know he's Hassan Johnson or Rick or Little Ricky or whatever you want to call him.
Little Ricky's his shower partner. But when they get to his apartment and he cannot sing for shit, it's pretty great.
Yeah, I mean, really great. I love it.
Rick Tyler.
That you, baby? I got soap in my ears.
You left the door open.
Open for you. Cooper said it, come and get it. Lots of moxie, hello Foxy. It's the
What got it now?
What?
Police. Let's go, little Ricky.
Loved hearing him in the shower. Really, knew exactly, gave me a sense of place.
Yep.
And I totally enjoyed it.
I also get the sense that he's probably method and they all saw his dong.
I mean, to be fair, they saw a lot of dong in the shooting of this episode.
Yep. Yep. Dong all over the place. Wall-to-wall dong in this episode.
That's right.
God damn it.
So-
okay, so I don't have any notes again until they get into prison.
No, okay, so I
have
have a great note here. So, we'll call him Weebay. So Risa was busted with 2 kilograms of Weebay's weed, which to me, okay, for one thing, I went, that seems like a lot. I don't know exactly like size-wise because I've never seen that much weed, but that's a lot more weed than I've seen. So I did a little research to see what exactly.
And it's
that
also
would
a
see.
lot more weed than is presumably in that bag that they pulled out from under his kitchen sink.
A lot more. So I did a little online research. Now, according to greencamp.com, a kilogram of weed is, quote, an enormous amount of marijuana. Let's say the size of 2 watermelons. Now, Risa was busted with 2 kilos, so that we're talking about 4 large watermelons worth of weed. That's, a lot. And that would be roughly 5 pounds, which it's a lot. That's like
a lot of weed.
That's like, you could like do like a shoulder workout with that much weed. Anyways, another shady website that I went to, stuvera.com, suggests that a pound of weed should cost between $2,000 and $4,000 if you're buying like the pound, right? Now, we're talking with 2 kilos, we're talking about $10,000 to $20,000, which could be repackaged and sold for estimate, say, $160 an ounce. And
street value.
We're talking about street value. So we're talking about roughly $64,000 for that amount of weed, and like profits in the neighborhood of $44,000. So that's like it's a pretty high margin, it's a pretty good margin that Weebay's making there. Now, another problem I have with this whole like smuggling weed into the prison scheme is that I know that the guards are in on it, and I know that
You've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, I have. As we've mentioned before, I have seen the guards do it firsthand. We've also seen it. I think Weebay was involved with it firsthand in The Wire, if I'm not mistaken, right? Was he already inside when that whole drug deal thing was going on with Officer Johnson? What was that? Wasn't that his name? Another SVU alum that we've seen?
It was...
what was his fucking...
Tillman.
No, it was Tillman. That's right. Officer Johnson was the shitty guy who was beating up the kids in season 4.
Yeah.
Anyways, you don't smuggle weed in...
Or that was Walker, I think.
Walker.
In season 4.
Yeah. But you don't smuggle weed in candy bars and in like, you smuggle something that has a higher profit per volume. Yeah. You smuggle heroin
or you find a way to bring it in through laundry.
Fentanyl or... Coke, something where it's like, like the hardcore addicts are getting off on it. The hardcore addict, also like, it's kind of hard to smoke a joint without somebody noticing. You know what I mean? Anyways, I think that it would have made a little bit more sense if it wasn't weed and this whole prison weed scenario.
Yeah. Yep. Well, but the oxycodone might have been part of it too.
Yeah, but he had a prescription for that. That was for his
he
back,
had a
man.
script, but that still could have been part. I don't feel like that was entirely dismissed as being like wrapped up in that.
Now, I feel like he was a totally stand-up dude, but I also feel like it's a little weird to sleep naked next to your 16-year-old niece. I think that's a little weird.
I would posit that it's more than a little weird. I think she was 14 at the time, too, not 16. Exactly. Not that that's okay. Yeah. Neither age would be okay for that, but yeah.
I love how quickly we shift gears to like, no, he's a totally stand-up dude.
Well, he's Weebay. He could kill he could kill a lot of people. He could drop a lot of bodies, and you're still kind of like, it's Weebay. He's all right. He likes his fish. Like the prison guard seems like a supreme piece of shit before we've even met him.
Just like the way he's
by reputation, by what's being said. He also snatched the rape kit from the hospital, which is
It seems like he's a pretty, smart guy if he's able to figure that out.
Well, that's ballsy, though, because there's no way to know that their surveillance is not working.
Uh-huh. I mean, you can assume, and also no way to know that, like, it's going to be busy when you walk in there. It can be busy at any time in a hospital.
Yeah. It's pretty obvious right away that the warden's either clueless or complicit.
Yeah.
Because, Stabler goes in with his weird undercover as a lawyer, sans glasses. And he like the whole op is blown up immediately.
Yeah.
And I get it makes more sense, I guess, if it's the captain who's actually the one pulling the strings and not the shithead, CO Parker. But
I feel like
it still seems insane that.
I feel like you have an issue with some guards are going to see him. Also, the captain might, in a good-natured way, give up the goose. I think it's kind of left to our imagination, but yeah, it didn't seem like a very well thought out scheme, considering the risk that Risa was in, the danger she was in. So yeah, crazy.
Okay, now we jump ahead. Benson's going in, and there's no net aside from Finn.
And we have a kind of a rare voiceover, which is a weird trope for SVU. We don't get to see voiceover montages very often.
Well, and it's not exactly voiceover. It's off-screen dialogue that we eventually cut in on, which we also, I'm not going to get ahead of ourselves, but it's a weird thing because we're not used to it. It's serving sort of as VO.
Yeah, it's a makeover montage. Is what it is.
Yeah. Liv's getting she's all that. They're really going full caged heat. Right away, Liv's in the shower.
She's clutching her bosom.
I mean, she is full on there's a lot of breast cupping here.
I will have to say that I didn't just go frame by frame because when I pause on Hulu, I can't see it very well. I was taking screenshots as it was going to see if there was any visible areola, and I can't say that I can confirm or deny
There's no way she wasn't wearing flesh-colored pasties.
I could not confirm it. I think you're right. I think you could kind of make out the pasties underneath. But I had to look.
Pausing it like that.
I had to look.
Sure, yeah, I mean, this was your episode to do the recap on. So.
Yeah, and I did that. I needed to do that for a later section, anyways. So I was already familiar with the technique. So it's not like.
All right. So Risa got the instant Liv gets into Sealview.
Yeah.
Then. We meet Ashley again. Go back to Ashley, and she's got a fucking cough.
Yeah, and you know where that's going. We know where that's going because we've seen the Congo episode, and we've seen that's not the only time we've seen somebody just suddenly get ill for the right. Because
I mean, there was the whole measles.
There was the
outbreak episode.
Yeah, the measles outbreak. Exactly. That was very, very similar situation. Did we talk about the hyoid bone fracture scene, Josh?
I mean, we've talked about hyoid bones before, but I guess we can talk about it again.
Yep. Okay. So there are two things I liked about the scene. This is where Warner is describing why it couldn't have been suicide. One of them being the placement of the noose, and the other being
that right-handed person. The noose, the knot on the noose, would be a little off to the right of the neck.
Now,
left-handed person be the other way. But
I wish I might try to make a GIF out of this because Megan walked in while I was watching that scene. And to somebody lacking context, the way that Warner was moving her hand up and down looked like she was simulating jerking off somebody's penis that was attached to her neck, and it was really funny. And Megan,
or over her shoulder, in the sort of end of is it season 2 or 3 of Silicon Valley where they're trying to figure out how to jerk as many dicks off as possible.
Yeah, exactly, man. Good, funny scene. It's too bad that half of those people are. Just horrible. The other thing, so the hyoid bone fracture, I researched it. I guess you had already done research on it, but it appears to be really common in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, given the dozens of threads that I found on it that mention hyoid bone fractures on Reddit's RBJJ forum, which I did go to. Apparently, it's something that can happen pretty commonly with... I guess some of the...
Yeah, I mean, they're doing chokeholds.
Grapples and chokeholds that they're doing, exactly. Yeah. If for those not aware, the hyoid bone is one of those strange kind of
It's almost like a wishbone.
It is. It's like floating behind your chin, in front of your backbone, and it is a kind of what do you call it? A crescent shaped small bone. Interesting.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
So So I guess now she's meeting Shauna, right?
Hey, just off the boat, huh?
Leave me alone.
Oh, you jonesing.
You got a hearing problem.
Have a nice week.
I just need to get straight. You know who's holding?
There's nothing here. It's been dry for about a week.
Okay, so when's the rehab?
Simmer down, girl. What's your name?
Kat. You?
Shauna.
Hey, Shauna, I just need a little taste to get the edge off,
But the only way you're gonna score is by flatbacking.
Whatever.
You gotta make your merchandise a little more attractive. Like that girl over there. You see her? She gets whatever she needs.
Yeah. The only way you're going to score is by flatbacking.
Which I had to look up. I was like, that means...
I can tell. I knew what flatbacking was, but by context,
By context, but
okay.
I just wanted to look up to make sure that was a thing and not something that the SVU writers made up, and it is a thing. It is a thing.
They have Urban Dictionary bookmarked. It's really crazy how every single fucking thing is stacked against them in this episode.
Yeah.
Like the local ME won't re-examine Reese's body because he doesn't want to piss off his biggest client.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there like, there's probably a reason they're your biggest client, jackass.
Yeah, it's because you don't do shit.
Okay, now
Matthew Parker.
We have the best part.
Matthew Parker's credit card statement.
Yes, his porn subs.
It's not just the porn subs, Josh. The whole credit card statement is wild.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So Matthew Parker being the lower level lecherous corrections officer. First,
but at this point, we think he's the guy who's good for it.
We think he's the guy who's good for it. We've seen him. He's
clearly good for plenty of awful shit.
He full on cups Hargitay's ass cheek as she's doing her intake and says something really gross to her. And also it seems to really wielding this kind of awful power. He seems like the guy who could be doing this now. So they pull his records.
Well, and he clearly is going to take her down to the crotcheteria downstairs.
Yes. So they pull his records and his credit card statement, just completely insane. So first off, we got right column, which is the charges, and we got left column, which is which is just the numbers being added up. The numbers do not add up, Josh.
Surely not. Well, I think we only see the first 24 charges or whatever.
No. I'm just talking about the balance, new balance, stuff. So the balance is listed as $1,389.32. Mm-hmm. There were supposedly $425.39 worth of transactions plus $14.03 worth of finance charges minus $50 even of payments. That equals $1,787.74, which is not the number listed as the new balance. The new balance is $1,489.32, Josh. So there's almost $300 of missing cash here, which does not quite add up. Now, obviously, that is
far less interesting
than the next part. Yes, the next part is the list of charges on his credit card, and holy shit, is it amazing? Because he is full-on porn addict, and not just regular porn, Josh. He is into all kinds of things.
Yeah, he's all over the map, really.
So, should we read down this list? Because you're not going to see it unless you
You really
do
have to
some
look
sleuthing.
for this.
Yeah, you have to do some sleuthing to get to at least to the lower level
Which
ones.
I'm assuming we both did.
I got all of them as far as I could
got
tell.
all of them also.
Yeah. So we have, starting off the list, we have cocojugs.com.
Sure.
Makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
I get it. Next, we have prisonmate.net. I love the .net. Don't know why he'd be into women in prison, because that's what I'm
that's what he's got. But it could also be a website dedicated to making good mate in the joint.
That's true.
So he could be running a mate game on the side.
I don't think you can put an accent mark in an email address.
No, you cannot. So it could be prisonmate.com. The best way to make mate without a gourd in the joint.
See, this next one, number 3, to me, this isn't even a porn site. This is just an email address, sexyhotmail.com.
But this is for your porn burner email.
I think we've both worked with a guy who had a sexyhotmail.com email address. So
I think we both worked with multiple guys who had that.
Okay, so now we're kind of revving into gear with thepeepster.com. I guess that's going to be your voyeur website.
Sure.
Maybe kind of normal. But upyourbutt.net,
that's my favorite of them.
Is it?
It's direct. Well, it's direct. It's funny. It's a .net.
Yeah, .net's always funny.
Yeah, the .net, upyourbutt.net. If it was upyourbutt.com, that's not funny. But
No.
upyourbutt.net is hilarious.
I was hoping there'd be a .co somewhere in here, or a
.co.uk.
.ca. Why not a .ca?
Or .ru.
Yeah. Anyways, we got nicebooty.net. That probably exists. This one might be my favorite. Loveinabarnyard.org. Because
now, are we sure it's not luvinabarnyard.org?
That could just be a normal website. That just could be like...
Yeah, that could just be Luvina Barnyard's website.
I think it's Love in a Barnyard, Josh.
I know.
And that's not...
But it's spelled Luvina. It could be Luvina Barnyard.
I don't know what freaks at SVU think... like people who consume porn watch, because like you don't just go from like cocojugs.com to fucking full on bestiality porn. That's not like a normal progression.
It could just be pastoral exhibitionist porn also.
Okay.
It doesn't need to be fucking animals.
He's got a straw fetish, you know?
Yeah. He just likes seeing people fucked on hay bales out in a field.
Okay, ironkitten.com though.
No idea what the fuck? What would ironkitten.com be?
It sounds horrifying.
Yeah, is it like a fucking weird chastity belt site, but like a I don't know,
torture porn, you know, some sort of like dick torture shit, you know. I don't know, some fucking Antichrist Lars von Trier shit, something like that. Now, forgoodcompany.com, that's not porn.
Yeah, that sounds like a dating site.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it sounds like a escort site.
Yeah. Now, okay, so just a couple boring ones here. Fetishmanor.net.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever. Cyberloves.net, another dating site. Finally, we get to crotcheteria.com.
Yeah.
Why crotcheteria.com was not given a bolder, typeface in this, because really, really good shit.
It should be at the top of the list, probably.
Good shit. BabesbeingBad.net. Animalloveclub.com.
Okay,
Josh?
maybe now that makes us think Luvina Barnyard is maybe something else.
Yeah, and then rounding it out with easydate.com and cindysecret.com. But really, some gems in there. They really went all out. I want to know. I really desperately want to know what ironkitten.com is. Put it into your search browser, Josh.
Nope.
At this point, there's so much plot going on, right? Because we've got prison riots happening, and we've got
the prison's on a TB lockdown.
Yeah, we've got Finn getting pissed off because he
can't get his test.
He can't get his test on time, and we've got Benson nearly being raped. Oh, I have one note before we get to all the action.
Mm-hmm.
Benson's look almost works. Her prison junkie look, but they really needed to do something about her haircut, man, because her haircut is not the haircut of a lifelong,
Yeah.
pillhead to me.
They should have given her ratty ass extensions or something.
Yeah, give her a wig. I don't know. Wig, like, at least, like, the Olivia Benson, like, give Mariska Hargitay a wig, right? Like, Benson, we don't even need to have it explained. They could just do something, and it wouldn't matter. It's just, like, she clearly had, her hair done, like, 2 days ago when they were filming that. And it took me out of the scene. That's all.
Sure. Now, okay, so we're on TB lockdown.
Yeah.
And then the guard supervisor starts to, like, run to the front of the pack and, maybe this guy's also sketchy as fuck.
The mustache kind of screams sketch the first time we saw
but
him.
it also screams Leo, so it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. Now, I do feel like we should say that it's positively insane that Matthew Parker would be so fucking open about banging the inmates to a guy who started there this week.
Yesterday, yeah.
Yesterday, I believe. Like, this prison is clearly super fucked.
Yeah. This
And,
warden
like,
has no fucking clue.
No, and you kind of want to say that, like, this doesn't seem realistic.
Yeah.
Like, it couldn't be this bad.
It's probably this bad.
It's probably this bad.
Yeah. It's probably absolutely this bad.
Yep.
Yeah. Fuck the way we warehouse people in this country, especially for fucking weed, man. Weed is legal here.
Really,
right now.
any drug use, any just possession charges without intent to deal is fucking ass.
You can walk down the street in New York City right now smoking a joint, and nobody fucking cares.
Yep. Well, because it's legal. But,
Exactly.
I mean, I guess it's not legal to smoke in public, but I don't know how the New York law is written, but I know you couldn't, like, walk down the street and smoke in LA, but it was legal.
Basically, every street in Manhattan stinks like weed constantly now.
Yeah.
The only place we didn't see weed getting smoked constantly was on Governor's Island, which is this is like officially national parks property. So I was actually almost like interested, like, can you not do it here? I don't even know. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. But we're back. We're back for this kind of thrilling scene with Liv and Harris.
Well, there's
in the
also, we
dungeon.
haven't talked about the riot really at all.
Yeah. No, we haven't.
No, the guards just come in, charge in with riot gear, and the women are just upset because they want to know what's going on because there's a fucking drug-resistant outbreak of fucking tuberculosis.
Also, Parker is explicitly taking Liv away to rape her.
Yeah.
That's like, stand up, it's time for you to get raped. That's like why he's there.
Hey, it's rape o'clock. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, and like, there's no lag time between the like, there's no like time for people to get into their riot gear, right? There's just immediate beating people with nightsticks.
So yeah, it turns out the corrections captain is a racist. Or rather one of them, because clearly Parker's also a rapist.
Yeah.
And then we have, this fucking harrowing scene where it's like, the person we watch on this show for 20 plus years.
The main character.
Is, the only main character that's been the whole show.
Is, less than an inch from...
She's close enough to see Dick Mole. Yep.
Oh, and like, we linger on the shot on Hargitay's face, and she's selling the look of like fear and horror really well. Like, she does a great job in this episode, but holy shit, are we forced to stew in the fact that his fucking erect rape dick is like less than an inch from her face. It's horrifying.
His moly erect rape dick.
I'm glad we have an outlet for things like this.
Because, I mean, like, we're laughing right now, but it's
horrifying.
That is not a fun moment.
No,
not at all.
No, not at all. Especially because it's like telegraphed, right? Like, we walk down the stairs and we're like, oh no, this isn't good. And we keep walking forward and we're like, Oh no, that's not good. And we see that bare mattress, and it's like, oh fuck, that's not good. And then it just like gets like the fear and horror ratchets up throughout that scene. It's
and
it's
a
effective.
long fucking scene.
Yeah, it's a long scene. It's cutting back and forth between Finn
trying to get to her.
Finn trying to get his test done. Yeah, just horrifying. And to see, like the main character of the show, like put into this situation where not only is it horrifying for anybody, but especially for her with her, priors, basically.
Yeah,
it is really a fucking moment. The only thing that really, I wish they had kind of sold Harris as the bad guy a little bit earlier in the episode.
I think it works as a surprise, though.
Yeah, it does. It works as a surprise.
You think, like, I think it's a good misdirect, and like the fucking, what's his fuck is also a complete shithead rapist.
He is. Yeah, he's also
horrible.
And like, and it's trying to point out that
we don't know that anything fucking happens to him at the end of the episode either.
Yeah, and we know that there's dozens of other guards in this place that are also raping these people too. So yeah, it's horrifying. Dark fucking shit. Which, of course, they follow up with dick jokes, because Finn rushes in and manages to save the day, and Harris is taken downtown to be questioned, and they tell him he doesn't have the balls to handle men. That's why he was at Sealview.
Yeah,
it's kind of inappropriate.
I actually like her doing that.
Yeah.
Once she thinks she's got him, because it's like a,
Yeah, it's
especially since he's been raping all of these fucking women the
damn.
whole time.
Yeah.
Like, fuck this piece of shit.
Fuck this guy.
I'm happy to see him.
Him like taken down a peg, and he has this like shit-eating smirk on his face that scene, because he really is odious.
Yeah.
Once we figure out who he is, because he seems almost friendly the first time we meet him, and then he really goes to odious quick. And of course, Austin Lizzie, one of the bestie boys, comes in and saves his ass, but not for very long.
Nope.
And almost immediately
he's made by his mole.
He's made by the mole. And
we definitely know that Liv saw dong, because
Liv saw dong. There was a zip.
She knew what distinctive feature.
I mean, what a line of dialogue where Liv is pressing Ashley to open up about the dick mole.
Yeah, like you saw the mole, right?
Just. God, I mean, just to be a fly on the wall of the writer's room when they came up with that.
Yep. Oh, distinguishing characteristic on the dick.
Unbelievable. Just broken people all around. And then
there's something really special about these Neil Barry years where...
And then, so they go in to arrest him. I really liked the scene where they finally arrest Harris, because there's this, I guess he's either just finished brutalizing
Amber
LaChanze or LaChanze, whatever.
Tony winner.
Yeah. But she has a very strange look on her, like a very strange grin as he is being hauled off, that I really enjoyed. And then, of course, all the prisoners cheer as he's being taken away, and then we really get some dick jokes from Stabler and Warner right at the end.
Captain, huh? Looked more like a private to me.
We'll have to enlarge it for the jury, but it's right where Ashley said it was.
See you in 20 years, Captain.
And that's when our...
It's really rare for them to be right at the end, too.
I know. It was kind of like a little, like, almost a G.I. Joe kind of, like, Masters of the Universe style wrap-up to an episode, right? Where a little lighthearted pun, and then it goes to credits.
Yeah, and then, I don't know, they high-five or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, all right.
So,
not so bad. Let's rank this thing, Josh. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I'm fucking ready.
I was born ready to rank this one. I gotta say, so of course, guys, I should say first, we rank these episodes every week. We are trying to put every episode of SVU in order, in order of how they rank on our rating system, which is a 10-point scale of 4 criteria with which we make a composite score. So we rank on the quality of the episode, the quality of the guests in the episode, how problematic it was, and the depth and breadth of lives ruined over the course of the episode. And that gives us our composite score. Now, I gotta say, I think this one was pretty good. I like this episode.
Yeah, I completely,
And I like how, you know, that the main cast member isn't going to be killed, generally speaking. We're not watching Game of Thrones. And we know that they're not going to go to jail for a convincingly long amount of time. But in this episode, there really was high stakes in that scene in that rape dungeon. And it really could, like, you really thought it could have gone there.
Mm-hmm.
And
no, it's, I mean, even having seen it, you know, obviously we both remembered the episode pretty well because this isn't one you forget.
No, this is a classic episode. This is really a good one.
But even knowing where it goes, it's like insanely stressful for the entire fucking time. Like,
there's like a whole like between commercial breaks where it is just like it doesn't stop, and it ratchets up the stress, and it is has a pretty horrifying climax, and it does it well. Like it works.
Yeah, it really does it does like the good job of like cutting away to Finn trying to fucking extricate himself from this fucking position without blowing his cover.
Yeah.
You know, it does all of that. So like, you know, the cutting back and forth really ratchets up the tension well.
So I'm inclined to call this a 9. I don't know that it's perfect, but I think it's really good.
I'm there with you.
It's not like, because it's not there. I guess there are laugh lines in it, but I don't know. I don't know what perfect is, but I think it's just like a tick below it, but it is really fucking good, and it works.
Yeah.
Now I think the next one is the only one maybe it maybe loses a peg, because the guests are good, but I don't think that this is where the episode strength lies. I mean, I think that.
I think Parker and Harris, you know, the two fucking, you know, completely bankrupt corrections officers.
They're great. They're terrific.
Really fucking good.
I think Sharika Epps is fine.
Crazy menacing.
Yeah.
I think Sharika Epps is pretty good. Yeah. I think Cyrus Wirt is great.
He's great. Hassan Johnson is awesome. Of course, I wish he was in it so much more. It's like I really, really loved his scene. He completely stole it. But I don't think it's by like a 10 in guess.
No. I think it's probably like a 7 or so.
That seems right. Everybody is good for the most part. There's no obvious bad actor, so to speak. But it's not perfect there. Now, this is a 10 problematic, right? I mean, we are subjected to near constant prison rape references throughout this episode.
It also, opens on that shot. You know, it opens like
we have an upskirt shot of a recently raped 16-year-old
that's just barely lit the right way. So you know that they took a lot of time doing like setting that shot up.
Yeah, they really had their angles down. Like they were drawing. They were drawing out some boards.
Liv's got a dick in her face for. It felt like an hour.
Warner is photographing a dick and making jokes about it. Elliot has multiple dicks in his face that he is joking about throughout the episode. Shauna is talking about flat backing and then providing examples.
Just like casually
providing examples of chicks in prison that get whatever they want.
Yeah, no, this is like wildly problematic.
Finn is calling people crack hoes right in front of their daughters. Yeah.
No, that was Munch.
Oh, that was Munch. You're right. That was Munch. Yeah.
But still problematic.
Yeah. I mean, this is a 10, right? This is a 10.
I mean, it's wall to wall dongs.
It's
wall to
wall dongs. It's wall to wall dongs. Like from the get go, just it is like trow is dropped everywhere. God damn it! We see a guy full on cup Hargitay's butt. We see Hargitay,
Hargitay cupping her boobs.
Hargitay is doing like the black book walk of shame.
Yep.
Like,
yeah, it's. Yeah. God, it's fucking wild.
I'm calling this a 10, Josh. I don't.
That's fine.
I mean,
I'm not going to push against it.
It's outstanding. And then the depth and breadth of lives ruined. Now,
well, we know that she deals with PTSD from this for a while.
Yeah, and she is, of course,
and she's the lead.
The lead in the show.
Yeah.
And still is to this day. Was probably back then. But at least the co-lead.
I mean, they were
then.
co-leads.
Yeah.
They were both getting nominated for Emmys at this time.
Absolutely. We also have a TB outbreak in the foster care system in New York. We
do.
We have Ashley, who has a lifetime of PTSD to look forward to. We have Risa, who's dead. And we have a
whole
correction
lot
system.
Of rape victims. Basically, the entire prison has been raped.
Every single one of them. That's
fuckhead. Yeah. Fuckhead Parker doesn't seem like he's going anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems basically, in my understanding of it, from what Shauna was telling us, that basically the more you enjoy the rape, the more you get while you're inside, which is really dark. Really dark.
Mm-hmm.
And what else am I missing? Elliot's obviously seen a lot of Wang, probably more than he wanted to. Liv definitely did. Yeah, this is some pretty horrifying shit. Also, I think,
and you have to chalk up Risa's death is at least partially on their shoulders.
Yeah, and I think that Ice-T actually hit Hargitay in the neck with a nightstick, so that's another thing.
Yeah.
Risa's death totally on their shoulders. So Elliot hopefully has to deal with that. So what
I kind of don't see how this isn't a 10. Also,
we're
dealing with a drug resistant TB outbreak, and like fucking like hundreds of rapes in this episode.
Hundreds of rapes. And okay, I mean it.
And PTSD for the lead fucking character in this show.
And this is kind of like, not necessarily with this episode in mind, but this is kind of what, at least when I was thinking about this category, something like this, right? Where it's just like, we are forced to think about thousands of rapes in this episode.
Right.
And
I mean, you sit through one that is just barely interrupted.
Yeah, but we also, with the intake scene, right? We are forced to think about just the like essentially the whole process of becoming a prisoner is basically being raped, right? Like they are brutalized from the second they get out of that bus. And we like do a few different like sweeps around the yard, right? Where there are all these extras, and we're definitely forced to think about all of them being raped too.
Broad cast of characters who are all being raped.
Yeah, horrifying. Okay, yeah, it's a 10, and I don't feel bad about ranking this one really highly. This one is coming in.
It's really good.
This ticks the boxes. They definitely. I don't know. Did Hargitay get Emmy buzz for this one? I did not look that up for this episode.
I don't know. She was nominated for 911 in season. Or she won. I think she won that one. I think she was nominated for an Emmy this year also.
Yeah, because this was definitely one of those ones where it's like she should have gotten at least a nom, but I don't. So our composite score.
Yeah. So this is from 2009 season, right?
Yeah.
So she won in 2006, and then she was nominated in 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011. Yeah. So This is all in that window.
Yeah. So
she's basically nominated every year from 2004 to 2011.
So that puts this as a 9, which you might realize is pretty high on our list. In fact, it is number 2 behind only Hooked, which had an HIV epidemic across New York. And was
also inappropriate in a much more fun.
Yeah, it was a
mostly.
tick more fun, and it had a tick, one tick higher kind of guest participation. I guess is really the only place where we gave that one higher marks. But it was
well, and that was all because of what's his fuck from Succession, right? As a little kid in the coffee shop.
Well, it did have Greg from Succession. That's right. Megan still thinks that the G.I. Joe Snake Eyes origin stories movie is starring Greg from Succession, and I don't have the heart to tell her that it's not. but yeah.
Well, I mean, she'll find out when you guys go to it this week.
I wish. I really want to see Pig, man. We've gone to
Pig. Oh, Pig was great.
Yeah, we've gone to this bar in the East Village that's right across the street from a movie theater, and our child is not of age to go to movies yet, so we need to figure out a babysitter situation. But Pig looks awesome.
Pig was fantastic. That's the first movie I've gone to since the pandemic, and I'm only going to weekday matinees. So
that are
going to Fast 9 tomorrow.
Is it? Don't give me any spoilers, but is it a Mandy-esque revenge thriller?
Not at all.
Okay.
It's you couldn't.
I don't give it
the
away.
The trailer's not going to tell you anything about what that movie is.
Okay, awesome. I know he wants his pig back. That's all I know.
He wants his pig back. It's a truffle pig, and it's he loves his pig.
Anyways, I think we should roll the next one and get on with our lives because it's already late, and we're gonna try to do another one tonight.
So spoiler alert: we've already watched this one because we're recording it in like 2 minutes, but we'll go through the little rhythm here. So I am going over to episode.lol, which is fueled by friend of the pod Flet. The tape is spinning and it is kicking out. Oh, and Bill and Ted, they don't like that part either. But it kicked out Rage, season 6. Episode 17. The overview. 14 years ago, Stabler had a chance to nail Gordon Rickett for the abduction, rape, and murder of Dana McNamara. But Rickett managed to get off.
That's the whole overview.
With the recent discovery of the body of Carrie Lynn Palmer, Stabler has another chance at cracking the case. They can only hold Rickett for 24 hours, but are able to glean enough information during that time that we'll just cut off. They can only hold off Rickett because this is giving off too much of the plot.
Yeah. Let's just say that if you've seen this episode, you'll remember it because it is a different one. It is starring
and starring heavily.
Star of stage and screen Matthew Modine in a Canadian tuxedo.
He's really in this movie or in this episode a lot.
Yeah. He
holy shit.
Sure is. And we
said this episode was different.
This episode is
Rage
really
is even
different.
more different.
Yeah. So you guys are gonna have to wait till next week for us to get into that. But until then, guys, munch my Benson.
Yeah, munch the fuck out of our Bensons and rate and review the podcast.
Please
listen to indie podcasts.
Yeah, there's some great ones
all
out
that
there.
shit.
If you're looking for podcasts, just send us a note. We will hook you up.
Yep. And we're on all the socials at Munch My Benson. Listen.
Yeah,
again. Listen to all those people. Rate and review this fucking podcast, people.
Yeah. Tell your friends.
Tell your fucking mailman because he'll tell everybody. All right.
Later, guys.
Later.
Come out, wherever you are. You can't hide from me. I know you're in there. I'm gonna get you.
Police! Drop your weapon!
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.